Chairman, ladies and gentlemen. I was given the task to reflect Austria's commitment to the International Clinical Trials Day and to the research scenarios regards the internationally founded organizations and infrastructures that exist. And I'd like to start that in respect of the clinical trials we are already fit to make an impact. So we have a very solid and good contribution in place that covers a broad range of disciplines, different aspects in clinical research, and that Austria is actively participating by money contribution in several fields. And I'd just like to highlight three of those projects. The first one has already been mentioned, the European Clinical Research Infrastructure Project. This is aiming at improving the clinical trial infrastructures to provide access to different countries, different disease-specific areas, and expanding now to medical devices, not drug-related intervention like nutrition, and to rare diseases in this next step. The second one is the biobank infrastructure. Just imagine a clinical trial delivers not just a result, meaning that treatment A is better than B, but you would also get access to biological samples. And that is an important source of new research developments. This is why we need biological material from patients who have the disease. So we need a form to collect that. We need to resolve a number of legal and ethical issues to be able to provide the appropriate amount of privacy, but on the same time guaranteeing transparency. And the third one, Austria is actively incorporating and also investing heavily in infrastructure, is a mouse model facility, which is going to be based on the grounds of the veterinary university in Vienna. The transgenic mice models are being tested for the translational aspect to be included and deliver data in clinical research. We're also involved in the education and training fields in Austria, and I highlight 4 different projects that are funded in the Innovative Medicines Initiative that Jacques and Christian already referred to, because we feel that highly skilled and experienced researchers require appropriate education and training in the first step. They shouldn't be learning on the job only, they need a background material for that. And those 4 projects have been funded recently or underway with heavy Austrian participation. The first, marker, biometric molecular tumor classification for non-genotoxic carcinogenesis. So we all need acronyms, otherwise we can't recall the long names. The second one, ETOX, bioinformatics for toxicology. Third one, PharmaTrain, an education program for pharmaceutical medicine. And the last one, where I happen to be also in chair, is the AtCRIN, a medicines research training program for the EU 27 and other associated countries. And those new initiatives are necessary. We have changed from a typical scenario of learning that had its classical taxonomy basis in biology, in chemistry, in biochemistry, that enabled, unfortunately, very little sharing of knowledge. If you're an expert in chemistry, you hardly find a common language to talk to a clinician. So it's now going into a completely different perspective based on disease entities, other networks, other personal interests that require scientists that have an expertise in integrative science, in translational science, in different aspects, open innovation. So the new scientists will have a different form of information on their background, and we'll also have access to different tools and methodologies to acquire that. We're talking about e-learning all the time, but we're not sure which model actually works best in which scenario, in which setting. Do we really rely on that? Is it better to instruct our pupils in face-to-face meetings? Is a proper combination of that? What is fit for purpose? So we're learning by experience, and we need a broad understanding of the practical aspect to be able to find the appropriate solution for that. What is therefore the requirement? Well, we need a critical mass, obviously. It can't be covered by a small country in the middle of Europe. That needs a multi-European, pan-European, multicultural surrounding. The second one is the multidisciplinary of today's research. And tumor drug is no longer developed in a lab alone. It needs to be sophisticatedly tested in a number of models, in vitro, in different animal species, before reaching the first clinical trial phase. We want to be 100% sure that we are not going to harm patients when we expose them in the first step of the clinical trial to a new chemical entity. And the third one which is of equal importance, is a stable structure for these research entities. Imagine you have a library and you stop buying books and you stop buying journals. You'll be running out of information and expertise very, very quickly. So we need a continuous investment to enable us access to specialists in the field, to networks, to diseases, and ultimately also to patients. That all is an added value of a good consortium that pan-European initiatives can provide. We therefore have both a horizontal and a vertical layer in modern 21st century science. We have scientific topics and we have infrastructures to support research in this field. What are the open issues that we need to resolve? And this is a high priority list to enable interoperability of those research topics. The first one is we need to guide customers how to access those services that already exist and that are being built. The second one is we have to resolve issues on data management. It has already been mentioned that access to original trial data is mandatory. That needs to obey all principles of privacy, which should also enable not to have to repeat studies over and over again when data have already been generated. So when a new analysis mode comes into play, it must be possible to analyze data that is already there under proper guidance by ethicists in a legal framework in an appropriate structure. The third one, I already mentioned, the ethical and legal management. What's allowed in country A is probably not possible in country B. The shipment of sample is a very good example. Is it possible to do with a clinical trial sample whatever you want? Or do you have to recontact patients over and over again? Is it sufficient to anonymize samples? Or do you need a link with basic clinical information to be able to deduct useful information? But what sort of clinical information is appropriate to provide the appropriate privacy and to protect patients' identity? And last one, the sustainability of those infrastructures. As with the library, a continuous investment will be necessary. But I'm sure that there will be a return on this public investment. We'll ultimately achieve better medicine for more people. We'll also achieve new opportunities for people. And just to provide you two examples, the first one from Austria, recently a comprehensive cancer center was being founded at the Medical University of Vienna, integrating basic preclinical work with clinical expertise. And the second one in Germany, even more prominent, you might have read that in the news something like 3-4 weeks ago. It was published that the Deutsche Gesundheitszentren are going to be funded with seeded funding for 5 years at the amount of 300 million euros. So that is infrastructure that goes into 27 different sites for 4 different thematic scenarios. And this is not the first attempt, because the previous 2 initiatives have been so successful that this initiative was launched. And if you happen to look on the internet for the Deutsche Zentrum für Diabetes Sciences or for the neurodegenerative disease, you'll immediately see what's I mean. However, we need more interaction across those different initiatives. So the national disease networks that already exist need to be attached to those infrastructures. Translation initiatives needs to be started. The biomedical sciences infrastructures could come in handy to enable this transition period. The education and training landscape will need to adapt to those modern requirements, and will have to come up with new modes of teaching, of new material, and also fostering mobility of students, enabling also new opportunities in new fields that are hardly known by now. So we have 4 different players basically now in the field. With the European science community, we have the European academic centers, we have the European ministries for sciences, education and other related fields, and we have the European employers who will also take care for continuous development not only of the drugs that they are going to sell for public money again, but also providing opportunities for the sciences that we are going to educate. And I should stop here with those promising words that I see a clear future for pan-European development in European research. Thank you very much.